ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I'm smiling because I nearly had a nightmare there. I couldn't find my cursor on the screen. I was trying to get the camera up in time for the intro finishing. Didn't think I was going to make it, but here we are. I have made it. Welcome back. Hello, it's nice to see you all. Yeah, took a wee day off yesterday. There wasn't much to talk about, was there? There's not much happening now. The transfer window is shut. We're back into the nitty-gritty with just games left, right and centre. But in terms of actual news, not much happening. Not much happening at all. So I saved it for today to go live this afternoon before everybody's busy with their Saturday night plans. Thought we'd preview the St Johnstone game. We'd talk about a few of the things that have emerged in the media, and I just have a general Q&A like we always do. I love these streams. It gives me the chance to catch up with guys. Like, oh, look at you. Oh, he's all piling in. See, that's what I mean. Nice to see you all. Luke, Craig, Dylan, Connor, Archie, everybody who's in there. Nice to see you so far. Hopefully a lot more of you pile in and we can have a bit of a laugh. So save your questions for the end of the show. I'm doing great, Craig. Thank you for asking. How are you doing? Hope you're doing all right, sir. Hope you're doing all right. Good evening from Singapore. Wow, never had anyone check in from Singapore. As usual, I've got tea on the live streams, yes. I can't go without tea. I must have about 6 cups a day. Anyway, hello, like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you're watching this in video form, then sorry you can't join in with a live conversation, but be here next time, and I'm sure you can get your questions in, but we'll save them from there. Nice to see people piling in. Oh, okay, Marcus is not in Singapore, he's in Glasgow. Right. Thanks, Marcus. Make me feel a right tool. At least Martin's honest. You know, Dublin, good place to be. He was actually just talking about Dublin with Kieran Auld. Right before this stream, we were thinking about going, me and a few of the mates, but, oh well, I can't afford that at the moment, sadly. Anyway, hello, welcome back. Let's start off the video with talking about Ange Postecoglou. That is what I've titled the stream with. Ruthless, brutally honest. Ange Postecoglou commenting on the Georgios Giacomakis transfer saga in yesterday's pre-match press conference, and he's made it very clear it will probably be the last time he speaks about Georgios Giacomakis in a pre-match press conference. Of course, we are waiting patiently to hear what is happening with the Greek striker. He is meant to be leaving the club, of course, to join Atlanta United over in the MLS in the United States of America. The transfer has not yet happened. It's yet to be confirmed and finalised. But that's what tends to happen with moves that happen so late to countries that are, you know, yonks away, different continent, different working legislations, yada yada. There is so much to it, and it is one of these ones that will be completed beyond the transfer window closing, which of course was the other day. But Ange has commented on the matter, and he was very honest in commenting about the matter, and it's gave us a little bit to think about, hasn't it? A little bit to talk about in regards to, you know, the way that Celtic are now run and the way things are and how we move forward, because we lose so much quality with losing a player like Georgios Giacomakis. You know, he is so important. He is so good a player. We have replaced him, which is good, but this is now the kind of insight as to how our manager thinks and how we move on, because this is, you know, this is the first transfer window we've lost big players, big Ange players. Of course, we lost Edward, for example, when Ange first came in, but I don't really count that because he wasn't Ange's player. He was destined to leave from the manager beforehand. But Juranovic and Giacomakis are really the first two sort of players that have left, that have came in under Ange, developed under Ange, and been a key part of the Ange Postecoglou system. So these are the first two players we've got to see leave, and it's the first sort of reaction that we've seen since big players have left. So Ange, this is his comments in regards to Georgios Giacomakis and his potential departure to Atlanta United. He said, "As I said the other day, it will get concluded very soon, to be honest. It's not in my... Let me start again, because I've messed up the tone. I want to get the tone right. As I said the other day, it will get concluded fairly soon. To be honest, it's not on my radar at all. I'll hear about it at the same time as you guys. If you're on Instagram, you might hear about it earlier than me. It's not on my radar. He's not back in the group, but a deal hasn't been finalised yet." Slightly awkward, isn't it? Making a clear dig at the use of social media in the Celtic camp, more specifically towards Georgios Giacomakis. Of course, towards the start of the January transfer window, we had the very cryptic post on his Instagram story that he could potentially be leaving, with the hourglass emoji and the photo of him being subbed on. At the time, I didn't want to read into it too much, but I think it was a heavy indication as to what would have happened come the end of the window. And obviously, Ange referencing the use of Instagram here and saying that we'll probably know before him. yeah, is not on the radar anymore. It looks as though Ange has totally brushed it aside. He's concentrating on the group at hand. And you know what? I love to hear it. As much as I love Georgios Giacomakis, as much as he was one of my favourite players here at the team, to see us move on and to see us forget about it is very, very important. We've brought in a replacement for Giacomakis. We're ready to move. We want to win a treble. You know, we've got 3 trophies up for grabs this season. A League Cup final at the end of the month. A league title, which we're still fighting for. I mean, I know we're 9 clear, but the job's not done. And a Scottish Cup that we could still win as well. We have to focus on the job at hand. And for Ange to think about Giacomakis would be silly. And Ange is well beyond that. He's not a naive man. He's not a stupid man. And we all know that. So I'm glad that he's kind of put it in the past. And I guess now we just need to wait and see. He did say right at the end of his comments, there's not been a deal finalised yet. So I wonder on what end we're waiting to see what needs to be finalised. Is it on Celtic's end, Atlanta's end? Is it personal terms between the player and the American club? That's really the only insight we have from the manager. So we'll just need to wait and see. I still imagine that we'll probably see the deal wrapped up over the next 4 or 5 days. I think by the end of next week he'll be an Atlanta United player. So we're just going to have to be patient. We're just going to have to wait and see what happens. But yeah, that's that. And very brutally honest in his assessment of the situation. A few comments in here that I'm going to try and... Let me just get a wee sip of my tea again. I don't want it to go too cold too quickly. You know what I mean? I just really, 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 really enjoy tea. I think big players will leave and new ones come in. This is one to look forward to. The difference in his stance on Juranovic going and Giacomakis going is quite telling, in my opinion. Yeah, I think it is. Obviously, there's been a lot of social media comparison over the last couple of days between the departure of the players and his comments on Juranovic, his comments on Giacomakis. Now, I would like to think that Giacomakis has left on as best terms as possible, but it doesn't seem like the manager is best pleased. I guess it doesn't matter. He's not here anymore anyway. It'd be different if he was coming back and he was still a Celtic player. I don't think that's going to be the case. So I don't think it's that big a deal. Giacomakis was a fan's favourite, but it's over. Let's just concentrate on players who actually want to play for us, says Ryan. What Neve asking? What top am I wearing right now? Good question. It's the one. Is it One Love shirt? It's got One Love. I think I'm fucking blue here. You know the fucking back. Do you know what? For some younger fans, they might not know what blue is. I'm not talking about the colour blue. I'm talking about the early 2000s pop band blue. That somehow added with tunes after tunes, but I don't know. It's a Celtic shirt for equality. And stuff like that. You know, I got it at Christmas. So, you know, I collect the kit, so I thought I needed it. Yeah, so, aye. If he wants to be the main striker, we can't blame him for wanting more playing time. Yeah, I think personally, I can understand it. If he wants to be the guy, if he wants to be scoring goals and playing every week, and he's not getting that Celtic, it makes sense. We've spoke about all that, though. Thank you for the donation, Jacob. When's the next Football Manager coming? Need to see the double. It should be out Monday, maybe. I think it might be Monday. We'll see what happens. Anyway, that's the situation with Giacomakis. We're waiting on the final update. I'll keep you updated on the channel when he does officially join Atlanta United. But just like Ange, I'm fed up with it. I don't want to think about it. It's got tedious. It's got dragged out. It's boring. He should be off. And hopefully he will be off over the next couple of days. Simple as that. But we'll come back to all your questions and such in the Q&A segment of the show. Tomorrow, Celtic head to Perth. We head to St Johnstone to take on them. And what game of the season are we on now? What's this? The 25th game of the season. We look for our 23rd win out of 25 and what has just been an absolute brilliant season for the club. We've been unbelievably good. And it's obviously a big game because the 3 o'clock kick-offs, which start in 5 minutes, will show if Rangers close the gap to 6 again, which puts the pressure on us to make sure we get it back to 9 and maintain the gap that we've got. St Johnstone's the opposition. Let's talk a little bit about them then. Callum Davidson has spoke about the park heading into the game. I was reading an article earlier in relation to his pre-match press conference, talking about the pitch. And all we've been doing is complaining about pitches. Hampden's pitch, Celtic's Park's pitch. We've now got McDermott Park's pitch to worry about as well. Callum Davidson saying it's not the easiest of pitches to play on. We need to make sure that we are ready for that, ready for any mistakes that can happen. We can counter on that because we can cause Celtic problems too. So yeah, the pitch isn't looking in the best state possible, but I mean they were up and down the country. See, I feel like the only decent pitch I've seen of late is Firth Park, and they're playing shite, so it's not really working for them. at the moment. But St Johnstone aren't doing too well. They did win their last game, fair enough to them. They managed to beat, who was it? They beat Motherwell, as we just spoke about, 2-0 at Fir Park on Wednesday. But apart from that, their form has been pretty stinking. And if you take away that win, their last win before that was December 17th, I believe. Let me double check it. December 17th. Yeah, that was their last win. That was against Ross County, when Ross County were down to 10 men. And from there, they've just been losing and losing and losing and losing. You know, it's not been a great run of form for St Johnstone. It's a game in which we should be doing the business. Look, I can sit here and match preview it all day. But what is there for me to say, really? You know, it's about Celtic turning up and doing what we do every week. It should be a win for us, and if it's not a win, you know, something has to go drastically wrong, and we'll address what goes drastically wrong. But I'm confident we'll get the win. We're obviously in that same situation just now, where we've got so many options. We don't know who'll start the game because we're that good. And Ange commented on that yesterday. He brought up the fact Kyogo isn't a first choice. Kyogo isn't a favourite. He isn't a nail-on start. No one's a nail-on start. So it's interesting to hear those comments, because for as much as we might think someone like Kyogo is dead on to start a game, you know, the manager quite clearly thinks he isn't. And he will start him, there's no doubt about that. But it just shows that, you know, the depth and the quality we have, we can afford to change it up, even in the most important and the most efficient of areas. And that's the striker at the moment, because Kyogo's in red hot form. No one is a favourite. Anyone can be dropped. Ultimately, no one's undroppable. And that's that. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Obviously VAR, I see somebody bringing it up, will have its part to play. Thank you for the day. I can't find my mouse. My mouse is acting up today, and I'm struggling. I'm struggling. There we go. Thank you, Dudley Bryce, for the 99-cent donation from Australia. I really appreciate that. So I think that we just go out, we do our business, we get the 3 points, and we move on business as normal. As for my team selection then, who would I go for? Well, I think it'll be Hart and goals, of course. I think we're going to stick with the same back four. I know Kobayashi could come in, but I think we'll stick with Johnston, Vickers, Starfelt and Taylor. I just feel like it makes sense. I think Moy will come back in. Obviously, he was dropped during the week for O'Reilly, who came on and started the game. I think we'll see the return of McGregor, Hatate and Moy in the midfield three. And then for the front three, you know, we could make changes. There could be players in and out. We don't know. But I'm going to go with the Jota on the left, Abada on the right, and Kyogo up front. I really want to see Haksabanovic get into the team. I would love to see him get a start. But I don't think it's quite there yet. I think that maybe he's still recovering a little. Maybe needs a good performance off the bench before that happens. So I'm going to go for the Abada, Jota and Kyogo. Traditional front three, if you like. There's my 11. Seeing Dear McDonald, I think you've went for the exact same team as me, haven't you? You have went for the exact same team as me. I just think that's a team that kind of picks itself, because it is a tough game. Listen, I know St Johnstone haven't been great, and they're 8th in the table. We should be winning the game easily. It's still a tough game. And you know, we've had problems up at McDermott Park in occasions in the past. So I'm just hoping that we get the job done. I hope we get early goals, nothing tedious about the game, and we go on business as usual, as I said. But that's basically that, isn't it? I feel bad for Haksabanovic. He was getting in the team, contributing in the World Cup, and injury happened. So unlucky. I know everything timed itself very badly for Haksabanovic, and obviously he's my favourite player. I love him with all my heart, and I want him back in the team as much as possible. But the injury certainly didn't help him. The World Cup kind of took away from the form that he was cooking at the time. But that's football, isn't it? You've got these obstacles to overcome. And we'll just have to see. I put Turnbull in as well, as it will be 11 men behind the ball. I suppose Turnbull has got the knack of scoring long-range efforts. He could strike when St Johnstone have those men behind the ball. But listen, one thing we've learned about Celtic Martin here, what we've learned is, even with 11 men behind the ball, we still win these games. We still get the job done, whether we need to shoot from outside the box or not. We do get it done. And we just need to be patient. We need to be the same Celtic we always are. And the result and the goals will come for us. Like, we've walked through it so many times. We have to do it, essentially, every single week. So, yes, that's the tea finished. Right, okay, Q&A time. Oh, hey, let's get into it. Let's go. Q&A. I know, Martin. Well, okay, Martin. I was just saying. I was just making an observation. Okay, calm down. Calm down, Martin. I'm joking. Right, let's get some questions in to end off the stream for 5 or 10 minutes. I know everybody's probably wanting to go and catch Soccer Saturday. Keep an eye on their coupons. I've not got any coupons on today. Yes. Yes, is there any unless my chat is just stopped, there's nobody got questions. Is that me done for today? How do you have your tea, Ryan? I actually have it with sweeteners, not sugar. Because my dad's diabetic, so we try our best to keep the sugar low in this house. So I'm tea into milk into sweeteners. For that's how I make my tea, and I love it. I wouldn't swap sweeteners for sugar. I love sweeteners. They're better in my opinion. So there you go. That's how I have my tea. Thank you very much for asking, Abs. Moy or Jorginho? Easy. Aaron Moy, of course. Aaron Moy could be playing at a Premier League team right now, even at his age. It could be. I'm not saying he could be playing for an Arsenal or a Chelsea, like the teams that Jorginho plays for, but it could be at a Premier League club. There's absolutely no doubt about it. But it's fine. I'll happily have him. Keep him around, please. Thank you. Would you support the expansion of the league? Yes, I would. I always have and always will, because it's boring, our system, but it's never going to change ultimately. Are you sticking on the Chelsea boots and watching the rugby? Absolutely no. No. Nah. Not going to be happening. Thanks for asking though, Luke. On form, Jota or Abada? Jota, and I've said it. This is my firm opinion, and it will not change until somebody changes it for me and they give me the evidence. On form, at the best, at the peak of their abilities, Jota's the best player in Scotland, not Celtic, Scotland. And I will stick by that. I don't think that there's a better football player in this country than Jota when everybody's at their best. He is technically one of the best players I've ever seen at Celtic in my lifetime, and I will stick by that. Now, I know a lot of people will always shout, maybe Rio Hatate. Obviously, Kyogo is well in for a shout. Callum McGregor. These are all players who are very much deserving of the same sort of title. But in my opinion, it's Jota. I just think he's a next level player. He could be playing at a higher level than us. Don't want him to be, but he could be. So I would be saying Jota for that. Why does Hatate wear a gum shield? Just personal preference, isn't it? I think in Japan, it's very common, in fact, that the athletes wear gum shields in all their sports, really. I think that every time that I have the Olympics on, or Japanese wrestling or something like that, I feel like they're always. I know wrestling's a bit different because it is a physical sport and you're making contact with face and such. But like other sports, I feel like it's just something that they have over there. It's just one of those things that are different about their sports. I think it's just genuinely a cultural thing. I don't think there's any particular reason why he wears it otherwise, but who knows? Maybe need to ask him. The real question is, why does he wear a blue one? I know, we need to ask him that. Who's been my player of the year? Asked Ian McDonald. Close one between Taylor, McGregor and Carter Vickers. If Jota hadn't got injured, I think he'd be in with a shout. It's still Taylor for me at this moment in time, but the two, McGregor and Carter Vickers, I think are close behind as well. What do I think of O against Livingston? To be honest, I picked up more of them against Dundee United than I did against Livingston. I thought that the second half in general was very quiet for Celtic against Livingston midweek. So I didn't really have much of an opinion of seeing him come off the bench. Pardon me, on Wednesday night. I really didn't. So it was just a sort of, he was there, didn't do anything wrong, never really got many chances, but the boy can shift. He looks comfortable. That's the main thing just now. Hopefully he gets his first goal soon. I really do want to see that happen. Favourite of the January signings so far, it's got to be Johnstone. He's the one who's appeared the most. Johnstone and Kobayashi are the only two we've really got to see. Obviously, O and Iwata have had some brief cameos, but I think Johnstone's the easy one right now, I think, by far, out of the four of them. Out with Brown and McGregor, Hatate is the best midfielder we've had in 20 years. Oof, that's a big call from Craig. He could be up there. I'm trying to think of who the club... To be honest, I'd still say Stuart Armstrong's better, but I think Hatate will eclipse him over the next year or so. But I think Armstrong's peak 2 seasons at Celtic were some of the best that I've seen from a footballer. And 20 years, a long stretch, of course. That goes back to 2003. And at that point, you can still include the likes of Stan Petrov, can't you? And you've got, some people will even say Neil Lennon. We had players like Barry Robson, Paul Hartley, who'd put in a good shift. Joe Ledley, great player. I think it's hard. It's really hard. I think that because it's so recent, it's always easy to say these guys. But I think, you talk about I think if you were to put Petrov in, but I don't think that Hatate would lace Petrov's boots at this moment in time, to be honest. But he is certainly, he's still got a long way to go. And obviously that conversation will probably change all the time. So we'll wait and see. Do you think we'll still get Cho in the summer? Now, Ryan McGinley says to me he still thinks we will. I don't think we will. No, I don't think so. I think that ship sailed. I think that it's very telling that Celtic are going for players, and Ange just commented on this numerous times. We're going for players who want to play for Celtic. If Cho really wants to play for Celtic, he probably would have joined in January. Now, yes, he can rethink that over the next few months and maybe join us this summer, but I don't think the manager will go back. I don't think we'll go for that. I really don't. So I don't think Cho will join in the summer. Yeah. Kaiser saying Hatai wears a gum shield to improve his fitness. The gum shield hinders breathing through the mouth, forces you to breathe through your nose. It also protects his teeth from flailing arms of cream buns. Lol. Now I didn't know that. The thing about the breathing. Now that's interesting. I've never done my research into gum shields. It's never really crossed my mind, to be honest. But thank you very much, Kaiser, for the insight. It's always appreciated, sir. Still in love with Armstrong, yeah, same. O'Reilly's another brilliant player as well. Do you think that when Ange leaves, the next manager will be... Do you reckon when Ange leaves, will the next manager like these Japanese players? Well, there's no reason not to like them. They're brilliant players. Now, what I will say is, when Ange does leave, it'll be interesting to look... I don't want to talk about Ange leaving. It's not going to be anytime fucking soon, but it is an interesting point. But I think the thing that we'll see change mostly is the recruitment process. Will we sign as many players from the Japanese leagues, the Korean leagues? Maybe not. But I don't think, the manager's going to come in and go, no, I don't like these guys. You know what I mean? That's slightly sus. And it depends who's still here. By the time, we don't know when Ange will leave. Let's not think about that day, Quinn. Let's not think about it. Let's not. Rogic as well, another fantastic midfielder that we've had over the past few years. Liverpool are getting beat again. Jesus. Right, I'm going to end it there for today because the games have started. I don't want to drag it too long for those who are going to rewatch it, but thank you all for coming out. Tomorrow, there won't be a match reaction straight away because the Thunder will be recorded straight after the game is finished tomorrow. So it'll be a little later on tomorrow night that you'll have my reaction to the St Johnstone game, and it will be with Callum Craig and Kieran Auld as we do the newest episode of the Celtic the Thunder. So keep an eye out for that coming on the channel tomorrow night. Monday, I hopefully will have an FM video up, but I've got some personal things to address on Monday. I won't be here. I've also got to go to Ayr for uni, so I'm going to be out all day, and then I've got some personal matters to take care of. So I might be off on Monday, back on Tuesday. So thanks very much for listening, watching, whatever you've been doing. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your Saturday night. Don't get too steaming for the early kick-off tomorrow. And yeah, I'll see you all night. Man United penalty. Come on, get in. Let's see this. See you later. Bye-bye. Cheerio.